Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And welcome back, everybody. We are today going to focus on those who take care of others, specifically people on the front line, people who are EMTs, people who are first responders, emergency workers. These are people that are saving lives. But are you saving money? Are you clear in terms of what your financial goals are? Many aren't. And that goes for all of us, but especially those who are working so hard at helping others. And we're going to talk with somebody today who is a financial coach and somebody who specializes in first responders and frontline workers. Very unique and so needed. Chris Harcksen Lucero joins us on the program today. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I am doing wonderful. Thanks for having me today.
Now, we're going to get your backstory in just a few, and that includes being a first responder. But am I feeling that right, that a lot of those people in those occupations don't focus on the financial end of their lives as much as they really should?
I'd say yes and yes.
Yeah. And having friends who are EMTs and even volunteers and all of that, I see that. I hear that. Many of us, I personally admit I'm financially illiterate, but I'm not a first responder. Add those responsibilities in, you got a lot going on there. Let's go to your background, because I find it unique going from the first responder side, but also the financial intelligence side of what you do. How did this all begin for you?
So growing up, I always wanted to be a police officer. So I was always drawn to that type of an environment. And all through school, I was like, I'm going to be a police officer. And this is back in the 80s when I was graduating. And you had to wait till you were 21. And I was like, I can't wait till I'm 21. I just am chomping at the bit to get started in my profession. And someone suggested becoming an EMT. So I went to EMT school. And as soon as I started doing my ride-alongs, boom, I was hooked. I loved medicine, and I continued to pursue. I became a paramedic a couple of years later, and then became a flight paramedic, which I still am currently a full-time flight paramedic. So like 37 years in the EMS so far. Still going.
Chris, did I hear that? Did I hear that clear that you're full-time as a flight paramedic?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
My mouth just opened. I have words. Oh my gosh. Wow. What a responsibility. How did your life go from being a first responder to a flight paramedic? Where did that bridge take place?
So, I mean, for me, I wanted to do more. Being an EMT, then became the medic, and I just wanted to challenge myself to take things to, I would say, the next level. Ground medicine was great. I loved it. But I really wanted the challenge of more critical care type of interactions with patients. The one thing I do miss about the ground side, I miss the interaction in the public more because I was out and about. I get to deal with higher critical care patients, interact with families more in a different way, but it's a little bit different on that side.
How did the financial part of this all come to fruition for you?
Well, one of the things I was really passionate about is, as I've seen in the profession, we just don't take care of ourselves. We're so much concentrated on focusing on taking care of everybody else, working to be better at our careers and our jobs. And so I was always passionate about peer support and really helping my coworkers manage some of the stresses and critical incidences that come. And one of the things I heard a lot when I would, even from my own self in critical incidences, where it's like, hey, you know what? You might need to take some time off, step away from the job, work a little less overtime. And I kept hearing over and over again, I can't afford to take the time off. I can't afford to take care of my mental health. And I'm like, this isn't good. And my passion still is taking care of patients, and so I wasn't going to lean into becoming a counselor or anything. And I'm like, how else can I help my own people and myself? And so I found that I really had a knack for finances and having those hard discussions about numbers and the psychology and things that go behind it. And so I was like, hey, there's this thing called being a financial coach. Wow, I'm going to check this out.
Wow. I'm on your website right now. Got to tell you, I'm not a first responder, but this resonates because I hear it from my friends who are. And I'm going to read this right now. There's just one section here, just below the top of the page. And these are so true. You find yourself working more than your mandated OT, but now you wish it in. You're not sure how or if you can pay your bills if you don't work OT. They just hired new employees, and you're worried you won't get any more OT. How will you make ends meet? Money just stresses you out. And you have a free guide for somebody who is thinking those things. I can't even verbalize how often I hear that. My best friend's an EMT. The most things that he says is those two letters, OT. As a matter of fact, he's working OT at this moment. And he relies on that. So yeah, when things change, it's like, he didn't get picked for OT, or sometimes as a side gig, he might work as an EMT at a concert, and they'll say, they'll put it out there. Hey, we got a blah, blah, blah concert happening at venue this weekend. Who's available? He jumps in, cause it's more OT, but it seems like the life of somebody who's a first responder, especially in our society now where things are tough, you're living by OT, right?
I mean, there is the mandatory, I work 48 hours a week. That's my normal shift, 224s or what I work. So there is the mandatory overtime that you get, and you get used to that. You adapt that to your life. And
you're right. I just want to interject here. He does the same exact thing. He front loads it. He works Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at his main job, which is for a major healthcare system in the New York area, and then the rest of that he works for a volunteer fire department, and he's paid as an EMT. So yeah, gotcha.
And then you kind of the opportunity to work that overtime is there, and early on in your career, when it seems like you have a lot of time and your social life becomes your job also, you kind of get into the cycle. And I love to tell people, I like to teach, leverage your overtime. It should supplement things that you want in your life, but we have a tendency to say things like, my car payment is just one overtime shift a month. When you start making your life, you have to work that extra shift just to pay for the things that are in your life, that's when you get that danger zone. Because critical incidences, they happen. Most people the average person sees, a few hundred in their lifetime. We see a few thousand critical incidents, and you never know when you're going to have the one that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, and that you need that time off. You need to manage your physical and mental health, and we always kind of put that on the back burner. We have a tendency to also think that work hard, play harder, and that we manage our mental health by the toys that we buy, the boats, the cars, the trailers, those kinds of things, and they're great. But again, if you're doing that at the expense of I have to work more all the time, always to have that, you're just kind of exposing yourself to more potential traumatic events and time away from your family.
So when it comes to the financial side of what you help with somebody, EMTs deal with, give us some of the programs. I know you have coaching programs. I know you do audits. Let's talk about some of your services.
So usually, I always offer a free, you can talk to me free and see how we connect. And I love to start with, I take everybody's like, oh, it's all about numbers and you're just going to put me on a budget and tell me I have to cut out X, Y, and Z. That is really not what coaching is about. It is I want to know, what are you grateful for? What are some of the goals? What kind of life do you want to have? What inspires you? Where's your purpose? When we put a lot of those things, then we take a look at what you're bringing in and where it's going. Is it contributing to your life and heading you in a direction that you want to be going? Or are we just, kind of filling the voids or stuffing things down by spending excessive money and put ourselves into that paycheck to paycheck or overtime cycle? So I pretty much have there's a 5-step easy approach to financial resiliency, and I do some speaking on that. I have another downloadable free on my Linktree, and it's just it's simple. It's know your numbers, because you do need to know what you have, where is it going, how much you're bringing in. I want people to have that build in a safety net. You'll hear it called the emergency fund, but I want that backup safety net for when life happens. And as first responders, we know life happens. We see it happening to other people all the time. The next thing is that I want you to plan for the priorities in your life, not just your bills. So not a budget, because that sounds like such a bad word. I want a spending plan, a way you want to contribute to your life. And then I encourage people to communicate, get your family involved or the people around you involved, having those deep conversations about what you would like your life to look like now and later on. And then the last thing is that action step. What small things can we do right now to get you moving in that direction?
What is the number one thing, based on your experience in this field and talking and helping people, that we need help with?
Oh, my gosh. I think a lot of us don't have a true vision of what our lives could be. And we think that making more money will fix any problem that we have. And we don't have the vision of what we want, and we're like, oh, if I just make more money, it'll fix this problem and I'll be able to make my life better. Or if I grind harder, push harder. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that.
And I love how you get a little philosophical and go a little bit deeper. It's not just about money. I'll bet you many who you've spoken to thought in their life that that's what it was. That, yeah, I'm working hard. I've got the boat. I've got the camper. I've got that big house. I got the kids, the dogs, the white fence. Oh, so that's it. But in the end, that's not it. That's not really it. Yeah.
No, not at the end of the day. And we kind of see that ourselves. And sometimes some people see it sooner than later. And I think it is. I like the toys. And I always want people to say, sure, I'm not against the big trucks and all the things. I love to do all those things. I'm a real outdoorsy person, and I love to have all that stuff when it's contributed in a positive way.
Right.
So many of us, I work with these people. I am these people. Family, they'll always say how family is so important. But really making it look what it looks like on paper in your real life, some of those times those things aren't matching up. And I feel like that's some of our disconnect.
Do you go on a fact-finding mission with somebody about some of these things when you first meet them? What their goals are, what they're looking for, all of that?
Oh, yeah. I love it. I love the conversation. I love inspiring people to think about their life in just a different way.
I'm fascinated about your approach and your energy. I have to tell you, Chris, it's amazing. And put to the side first responders, EMTs, all of that. I've never talked to, and I've done quite a few podcasts with people who offer financial services and helping people with struggles. They don't say the things that you're saying. And I believe it's almost fundamental. It's not just about money. It's your why. What's going on there? What's driving you? And yeah, love the big toys, love the SUV, all of that. But if you're stretching yourself so thin, working OT, you don't even have time to use those. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I love this. I love a holistic, really, the holistic approach, the whole, just why are we here? Why are we doing all the things? Because first responders, they're good people. They're smart people. They're caring. And they're always helping everybody else. But so many times when we're in our own struggles as a first responder, it's so hard for us to ask for help. We're usually not the people asking for help. And we think that we're the only one. And it is so not true. And I want to normalize these conversations around money and about what we really want, and making it okay to say, hey, you know what? I can't totally do this on my own. I might need a little bit of help. And that's not being weak, that's being strong. And that's for the mental health side, whether you need help with your mental health, your physical health, your financial health, all that.
The other aspect of you is, as a certified budgeting coach, you're looking to help. There are other financial planners out there that take care of your assets, it could be your retirement, IRA, and all of that. It seems to me that you're helping people get on a plan, get on a program that their money is accountable, that they're saving and budgeting the way they should be. Is that kind of by and large the main thing that you help people with?
Yeah, exactly. I don't sell any kind of product. I don't sell insurances. I believe people need insurances, and I educate people on some literacy on that kind of stuff. But I don't sell like a product like that. I don't personally invest. When I was younger in my career, I remember saying some of my why is because I feel like in this profession, you can get physically or mentally tired. And so we want to retire much earlier than the average population. And you don't want to do that with guilt, and you don't want to do that broken, and you want to do that on your own terms. And when I was younger, I didn't put money away like I should have because I was like, I don't have it, right? Well, now I'm like, oh my gosh, I could totally have found it, if I would have made that a priority, because I didn't see that was important. And then you add in the high divorce rate in this field. I've personally been through divorces myself, and that's a lot of starting over. There could be spousal support, there could be child support, and having to work all those things in to still have your life. Those are some dynamics that I help people navigate also, so that you can kind of live right now, but have the vision to have something at the latter end of your career, so that you're not stuck going to work. I hear a lot of that stuck. I have to go to work. I have nothing else to do. Yep. What else would I do? And I don't want to hear that from first responders. I want them to have options.
Can you give any examples of some of the things that you might work with when you're connected to someone in terms of budgeting? And it might not even apply just to, first responders, could be anybody, but some principles. I'm financially illiterate. Like I really don't, it is what it is. I'm creative. I don't want to deal with logistics and numbers. It just doesn't do anything for me. Any examples of things that we should be doing when it comes to budgeting and or saving?
Well, first off, we should always be saving for our future. And I tell people, come up with a percentage amount, just a small percentage. If you're doing nothing and it seems like a dollar amount's too much, 1%, 2%, 5%. A lot of times company matches are available for retirement. But putting something away and automating, making things automated makes it so much easier, out of sight, out of mind, right? The reason that automation works, that's why all of these subscriptions that we sign up for are automatic. It's just, you don't think about it, and then you forget to look at it, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I've got 10 subscriptions, and $150 is going out to, what am I doing with these things, right? So automating things that you kind of want to be doing makes life a lot easier. But just taking a look, what have I been contributing to? What have I signed myself up for? What am I putting my money towards? I like to tell people, think about who you are as a person, who you want to be, and how you want to be in the world. And if someone who didn't know anything about you took a look at your debit card, credit card, checking account, savings accounts, and they just looked at all the ins and outs, what would they think about you? Does that line up with who you are and who you want to be?
Wow. The subscriptions, you have my mind swirling right now. And as often as I try to cut back on them, there's some floating out there. I know they are. And they just came to mind. And thank you for the reminder. It's $44 a month for one of them. and I really don't need it. And to be quite honest with you, I changed bookkeepers, went through some transition because I have a marketing company, and we got a virtual log me in subscription so that she could work off site in the beginning. We don't need that anymore. And I still have it. That's $44 a month. Add that up to a year. If you're not using it, it's a lot of money. Just kind of going nowhere. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the thing of it is there's a psychology that goes behind. It's really hard once we add something into our life to think about taking it out of our life.
So true.
And that can kind of set us up for being committed to things that maybe really don't align with who we are as a person and who we really want to be. But we're like, oh, I've added it in. It's really hard to take it away. And when I'm working with clients in the very beginning, when we're trying to bridge the gap sometimes, I never tell people what they have to exclude out of their life. I help them just figure out what their own values are so that we can make sure, is this actually aligning with your values? But many times when you're torn between, should I take this out or should I keep it? You know what? Can you just remove it for a short time? It can always come back in, right? We can always just take it out for a little while and see, did we miss it? You know, so many times we think something's way more important than it is, and then once it's gone, you're like, well, out of sight, out of mind, right?
It's so true. You know, unless there's repercussions where you have to sign up again or there's a certain deal, but really, do you need it? You know, the big questions that you need to ask yourself. How does it begin when somebody's going to work with you, Chris? Do they just reach out? Is it like a discovery call?
Yep, I call it my Q&A, and it's basically asking questions, seeing if I'm the person for them, and me seeing if they're the person for me. Because a lot of times people are really they think they're motivated, but I really want to, like you said before, get down to that why. Because when you have that why, that passion comes in and hard work, because making changes in any parts of our lives is not easy. But when we have that why, that's what kind of like, it fires us up and it keeps us going when it gets difficult. So reaching out to me that way, we have a conversation, and then I start off. I have a 6-month coaching program, but I don't make anyone commit to that without my discovery session. That's a short couple-hour session where I do put numbers together for people, and I can see why or where they're feeling pinch points, and we have, again, those discussions, what it looks like. I can put together something that's super simple and easy. They walk away with some tangibles, and then their challenges. What's going to be their challenges that might prevent them from achieving the goal, and then they can decide if they want to continue to work with me.
Love it. Now, for anybody that is in that line of work as a first responder, we appreciate what you do, Chris, and everybody else, and that's why I want to take care of you financially. Start the process. What's the website, by the way?
Beyond the numbers, and then the initials B and N @.com. And that's me for everything right now. At Instagram, at Facebook, at LinkedIn, Beyond the Numbers, BN.com.
Thank you. I'm still trying to get my arms around the fact that you do 2 24-hour days back to back.
Yeah, actually they're 4 every other, mine are every other day. I work every other day for a week, and then I'm off for a week. You're going to find in the first responder areas, I mean, it's anywhere from multiple days in a row. Flying, we're only allowed to work not more than 36. I don't like to work more than 24. That's one of my personal rules for me, because I want to protect my mental and physical health.
Sure. And I can't even imagine, the stress that's involved in terms of what you do, because now you're up against the logistics of flying, whether we can fly. Where are we going to go? All of those things involved, and you're still life supporting somebody on that helicopter. Wow. And
most of us, that's part of the draw. I mean, I'm a super high energy person. I'm an ADHD person, right? But I love the high intensity job, the challenges that are that's what I'm drawn to, is not only helping people, but I love the challenges and the things that I have to navigate along the way. That's usually what feeds a lot of us first responders.
I really appreciate what you do. And by the way, if I'm going to hire somebody in the finance area, let them have ADHD. I want them looking at everything. I think that's a plus. That's a major plus. Website is Beyond the Numbers, BN, B as in boy, N as in Nancy.com, beyondthenumbersbn.com. Chris, great talking with you today. Love what you do in terms of supporting those who support us, and looking forward if we have a chance to get together again.
Thanks for having me. I love sharing.
I appreciate it. We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.